Good afternoon. Sino taga Marikina dito? Kasama ko. So first I'd like to thank the organizer for inviting me here. This is my first time to participate in this kind of activity. So most of my activity then was attending clinical conferences, RPPs. So my reaction, first I'd like to congratulate Dr. Val Barcinal. I could relate very well to her findings. I was in Tacloban up to Kulita Leyte, November, 2 weeks after actual Reactor. So what I saw, there are very raw, not yet cleaned up to the whole of Eastern Samar. So we were with the vice mayors sending reliefs. So we drove to Samar for 36 hours continuous. Okay, so what I'm sharing is our experience in Marikina. So Marikina City, as you know, bounded by Sierra Mountains, Quezon City, San Mateo, Rizal. So we are geographically located in the situation that we are classification from waters coming from Montalban, San Mateo, Quezon City. So periodically we have typhoons. Whenever it rains, we always nervous. So it's a very small city, about 2,000 kilometers, 2,000 hectares, about 42% of the total land area of Metro Manila, with 16 barangays. So our population is between 43,000 to 500,000. So the Marikina River is our major source of flood, one of our major hazards, and alongside it is the valley fault system. So with these two hazards, we should be always prepared. We still remember this 2009. Before Pundoy, we still don't have the MCDRM. What we have is 161, the emergency of Reactors. So we're not really prepared for this. We have no preparation for this. It caused us by surprise. I was also a victim of Pundoy. So this is the risk map we have of Pundoy. It affected about 80% of the population, 40 barangays. The height of Marikina River was 22.6. If you're familiar with the latest typhoon flood, Mario, it's 19.9. So what happened? There are 3,059 families affected with 40,724 persons evacuated. Mostly affected the elderly and infants. So there are plenty of problems there. So what's surprisingly, the old administration, it happens in November 2009, election na susunod na taon. So they did a great job of reducing the real tax, property tax reduction for all victims. So how can you imagine, nabaha na, tapos i-reduce pa yung realty tax. So, yung incoming administration, how can you imagine kung saan nila kukunin ng pera para i-rebuild yung city? Aside from that, there is zero tax for the steel industry. So, nabaha na, wala kang pagkukunan ng pera. So, but we survived that. So, after that, there are series, naisip nila, tayo na natin yung Marikina City Disaster Risk Management Office. So, Series of Ordinance in 2011, they institutionalized the organizational capability of the City of Marikina. And this is the organizational chart up to this moment. Mayor as the chairman of the Marikina City Disaster Risk Reduction Management Office. And 2013, they started to institutionalize the organizational capability of the city and CDRMs. So these are the members of the council. As you can see, most of them or all of them our department heads, the whole machinery of the city government. But it also includes the Chief of Police of Marikina, Fire, DILG, DepEd, the Red Cross, even the Chuchi Foundation, the Philippine Contractors Association Maribani, Marikina Valley Medical Society, or Rotary of Marikina, from which I was a member. Before I became the RM officer, I was a member of this council. So, to answer question number one, in practice, have the LGU been utilized the leeway given by the law to adjust their annual budget for disaster-related expenses? Yes. We realized that the budget is really not enough, and we have to make adjustment to when as needed. So there are certain ordinances that has to be done in order to increase the budget. So as you can see, as early as 2012, we have to ask for supplemental budgets. So this will allow us to build this central communication and command center. So we have to acquire these response resource vehicles. So disaster preparedness expenses is based on our needs to execute our plans. We need money to do those plans. This is also based on our past experience. Using Ondoy as a benchmark, we are really not prepared. During Ondoy, almost all our responders are victims themselves. So it took them about 48 hours bago makarespond. All our responders are victims, so we have to rely on Metro Manila, MMDA, to help us recover. So we spend our money based on past experiences. The gaps and deficiencies and discrepancies are identified by a technical working group. And we really need good leadership and vision to make a resilient city. We always prepare for the worst case scenario, like Miranda. So our benchmark is higher than the usual activities that are happening. So if Miranda happened in our midst, maybe we will not be prepared for that. So I will show you our PRM fund for 2015, very small. 2015, the 50% reduction of the periodic tax will expire on 2016. So maliit pa rin budget namin hanggang ngayon. So 70% of the total calamity fund is this. So 30% quick response fund is available only for 26 billion. But you cannot spend it for one disaster. Yeah? We have to save it for the whole year. So this is how the distribution of those funds. So we spend for prevention, mitigation, preparedness, response, recovery, and rehabilitation. So these are our future requirements. We realize we need those things based on our experience from Mario. On question number 3, if grounded assessment for disaster preparedness purpose are not the norm, have the LGU relied more on improvisationalization means dealing with the aftermath of disaster? Okay, so we have post-disaster evaluation to determine the effectivity of our early warning system, our standard protocols, standard operating procedures. We regularly have meetings and report our findings with our council, and we always propose improvements to our usual norms of doing things. We test it, and again, we improve on this standard. So, it's heavy reliance on community, inherent capacity to adapt, to be resilient in the face of destruction, work by catastrophic time on a sustainable practice. Or can we outline a new form of the flexibility among the front planners in the government during disasters? When talking about community inherent capacity, we cannot rely heavily on it. It is not enough as a sustainable practice for response, adaptation, to be resilient in the face of destructive typhoons or disaster. So the standard way of responding must be followed to save lives. It necessitates proper training and upgrading of skills. There is really a need to review present practices and activities, to set new standards and practices of activities, and how we prepare to respond, mitigate, rehabilitate in the face of disaster to be resilient. The usual practice 2 years ago must be upgraded. So our skills must be upgraded to international standards. I'll give you an example. This is what we use as an early warning system. So the first alarm, second alarm is based on the level of water. So we've been using this for the past 2 years. During the last typhoon, so we got problems and all. Even after we have enforced the 18 meters level of water force evacuation, we still got problems. So we have to adjust. We have to improvise a new standard for this. So we asked our barangay disaster risk reduction officer, the barangay chairman, to have the option to evacuate as early as 16 meter level of water. So we have again to rely on our contingency plan for flood. So what we want to raise for the following issues in the reviews, sunset review of RA 10121 is we need a full implementation of the configured position for the DRR organizational structure. I have 62 employees, all of them are class-wide. Yes. My position is borrowed from City Health Office. So that's a problem. This is not a problem only of Marikina. It's a problem of the whole LGU, even in the whole Metro Manila. We always meet once a month. We share the same problem. I really don't know how to remedy this. So also, there must be inclusion of penal clause establishments. Penal clause for establishments who are not cooperating with governmental agencies during disaster. And maybe the patitaas ng disaster fund from 5% to 10%. But it's really difficult to work on only 5% pa lang. Thank you.